hey everyone, we've got a brand new sponsor.
BagsUnlimited.com.
BagsUnlimited.com has a huge catalog of vinyl supplies, from record sleeves to storage boxes to cardboard mailers, record bags, and more. Whether you're just starting your collection or you're already the biggest record shop in the state, you can buy your vinyl supplies direct at BagsUnlimited.com.
And now, on with the show. Welcome to The Vinyl Guide, the podcast for record collectors and music nerds. Here's your host, the biggest record nerd of them all, Nate Goyer.
Well, hello there, everyone. I hope you're well. It's Nate here. Welcome to episode 442 of The Vinyl Guide. And, man, this is going to be a great one. This week we have friend of the show, Keith Morris, dialing in from the road. Of course, you know Keith from Circle Jerks and Off. Right now, Circle Jerks are touring with Descendents and Adolescents, which is a lineup very close to my heart. Check out their tour dates, circlejerks.net. And if you can get to a show, you can pick up the latest vinyl EP. It's songs by Descendents covering Circle Jerks and Circle Jerks covering Descendants songs. It's from Trust Records. All online versions are sold out. They sold out. They put some online. And literally within 4 or 5 hours, they were all gone. Thousands of these were gone. And some numbnuts are trying to flip them online for hundreds of dollars. But there is an exclusive tour version of this EP only available from the live shows. That's the only place you can get records right now, this EP. So there you go. CircleJerks.net. Check the dates. And if one's coming through your town, get there early and grab this elusive EP. Now, today, Keith talks all about the behind-the-scenes making of that EP, but we also talk about what's next for Keith. What's happening with Off? What's happening with the Free LSD movie? When will we get to see that? Will Keith be acting more? And what's happening with other possible Circle Jerks reissues and recordings? Lots of stuff covered today. And of course, it's always fun to hear what's happening with Keith and his projects. So hopefully you'll all enjoy this interview. And finally, we here at The Vinyl Guide are absolutely blessed to have these wonderful sponsors who help keep this show going. And I'm talking about Groove Washer, Bags Unlimited, and VMG Vinyl, all terrific businesses, and these products for the vinyl record collecting community are great. However, we also have a way to support the show through Patreon. Patreon.com/Vinyl Guide, where individuals can help keep this show going. And for that, we provide commercial-free versions of these interviews, high resolution so they sound better. We also include extended interviews and extra material. So if you want to help support the Vinyl Guide directly, do it at patreon.com/Vinyl Guide, and you get all the extras. If you listen to the free feed or watch it on YouTube, that's still all good. You just get to also enjoy hearing about our sponsors, Bags Unlimited, VMG Vinyl, and Groove Washer. So that's kind of how we balance it all. I know some people aren't a big fan of commercials. Well, there's an option there, patreon.com/Vinyl Guide. And I know sometimes budgets are tight and there's only so much you can support. You can still hear it all for free on our regular feed. It's that simple. We love our listeners and we love giving you choices, and that's how we roll. So, with that, let's get on the horn with our buddy Keith Morris. Let's hear what's happening and what's next. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this week on the Vinyl Guide, again, we welcome back to the show Mr. Keith Morris, who's on the road, Circle Jerks, Descendants, and Adolescents. Oh my God, what a freaking fantastic lineup. Talking to him out of Texas, I believe, today. You can check out
Austin, Texas. Yeah.
Austin, Texas. Very good. You can check out the tour dates, circlejerks.net. And we've also got a new 7-inch single out from Circle Jerks and Descendants, each covering each other's songs. So, mate, lots going on. Let's talk about the single first off. How did that single come together?
Well, I grew up with a couple of the Descendants. Granted, they're quite a few years younger than I am. I've known Billy Stevenson since he was 8 years old. He used to come into my dad's fishing tackle store. So Billy and I go way back. I actually believe that I might have played a role in encouraging him to listen to certain bands. See, he is a big Kiss fan. So I'm a big Kiss fan, but not like those guys, not like the guys in Off, not like the guys in Red Cross. I like Kiss, but they're not like really high on my list. Anyways, Billy would come into the store. I would have the radio blasting. If my dad wasn't there, I would have the radio blasting rock music. Ted Nugent, Aerosmith, Cheap Trick, and Blue Oyster Cult. So Billy was hearing all of these bands, and Billy was asking me, well, Keith, who should I listen to? And if you listen to the Descendents, I don't consider them to be a punk rock band. I consider them to be a pop band. You can hear that in the lyrical phrasing, the stuff that Milo writes about. And we also, where we lived, had another band called The Last. And one of the original members of the Descendents was one of the younger brothers, one of the younger Nolte brothers, Dave Nolte. And The Last were nothing but a pop band. But they were one of Black Flag's favorite bands, because in our part of the world, if you went on a Friday or Saturday night, you went to a nightclub or a bar, you weren't going to hear any original music. Very rarely would you hear any original music. It was all top 40. The Last had nothing to do with that. So we became friends with them. They became a big influence on Black Flag, and you would listen to The Last and you would go, now how could these guys be an influence on Black Flag? Because we sounded nothing like them. But they encouraged us to do what we did, and that is not be a part of what everybody else was doing in the South Bay. Anyways, Dave was the original bass player in the Descendants. So there's a thread going on here. Anyways, the way that this EP went down was one of our friends made a suggestion. Why don't you guys cover each other's songs? And it made perfect sense. We played a zillion shows together, and we had been given some time by Tim Armstrong from Rancid to use his recording studio. So it made perfect sense for us to learn these songs on the spot and then just bang them out.
There's so many different songs to be able to pick from. I mean, you from Descendants, Circle Jerks from Descendants, and Descendants from Circle Jerks. How did you figure out the lineup? Like, was it very easy to come to an agreement as to which songs each would cover?
We had no discussion amongst the bands as to who was going to cover which songs.
So you were surprised when you got to hear what they did.
No. What surprised me was the energy that they brought forth in our songs. And, they did a few things on their own to change things up, just like we added a few little bits and pieces of our own thing to try to, when you're doing somebody else's song or songs, you're trying to put your personality and you're trying to make that song become yours, which a lot of bands they don't pull that off. It's like a lot of bands just think, well, we're who we are, so we could just play this however we want to play it, and it'll be cool because our fans will love us for doing it. We are pissing through these EPs. Also, one of the things that happened was they were being pressed over in, I want to say, the Czech Republic, which meant when they were being shipped from Europe back over here, for us to be able to take on tour with us, they got caught up in customs. And our guy Joe Nelson at Trust Records also took it upon himself to come up with the program, the pressing, how many we're going to press up and how many we're going to be able to sell. He didn't want to turn this into some big money making, we're going to press thousands and thousands and thousands of these, knowing that we could sell thousands and thousands and thousands of them. It's a special 7-inch. So there are not a lot of them.
There's 1,000 red, I think 1,000 white, 1,000 blue, and then there's the spotted tour edition. Do you know, is that another 1,000, or how many are in that box? Do you know?
I hope so, because we're pissing through them. Like all of us are signing them, and it's like every other night we're signing. I don't even know how many come. I don't know the count of the amount of singles that are in each box.
Are you going to have to meter them so they last through the tour? Each show gets so many records to sell?
That is up to our gal, Tanya, who, she's in charge of our T-shirts. She's in charge of stickers and all of the fun stuff. And I would imagine there might be 100 for sale every night. I don't know. I can't pay attention to all of that because there's just so much stuff flying.
You just know you're writing your name dozens and dozens of times.
Yeah.
So when you were recording the EP, were there other songs that you tried or even recorded any outtakes that weren't used for the EP?
We recorded Loser, and Billy pretty much said that can't go on the record because Billy apparently, I want to think, didn't bother to listen to the lyrics that I purposely changed, knowing that there's some lyrics that a 17, 18-year-old disgruntled Milo wrote and was totally fearless about stating his cause. And we knew that, the punk rock thing would be just do it and not worry and think about what everybody else thinks. But we're in times now where we have all of these whamby-pamby, crybaby, you're this and you're saying that and that's not cool and you don't use those words, and it's like, just not cool. There's certain words that now have to be inserted for other words. And normally I don't have a filter. I try to filter myself, but at the same time, it's, let's just talk. Let's just be who we are. And if you don't like something that I say, you can call me on it. I'm not going to be offended. I'm not going to be hurt. I'm not going to run off into a corner somewhere and oh, boo hoo, moodily doo, oh, woe is me, any of that kind of stuff. But I purposely changed some of the lyrics, knowing that Billy was going to be put off. Billy and Stefan, two of the Descendants, also playing Flag.
Mhm.
And one of the things that happened with Flag was when we were choosing and deciding on what songs we were going to play live, I wanted to perform White Minority. Now, sadly, we have a group of people in the United States, even around the world, far right wing, Nazi, Aryan youth, Aryan race, white supremacists that thought that particular song was being directed to them. And so Billy said, no, we're not playing that song. And I had to explain to Billy, there are some really ignorant people out there that don't get the joke. What happened on one particular day, before Black Flag even wrote that song and wrote the lyrics, Greg Ginn and I, when we were friends, we worked together. We went to lunch. It's a beautiful summer day. We're going to go eat lunch, and then we're going to put on our swim trunks, and we're going to go out, cross the beach, get in the ocean, and do some body surfing for about half an hour. Well, we get to the wall in Hermosa Beach on the Strand, and it's like the busiest day that they've ever had in Hermosa Beach. We were not going to make it to the water unless we went out to the end of the Hermosa Pier and jumped off the pier and swam back in. That was the only way we were going to get to the ocean. There were probably 200,000 or 300,000 people on that beach.
Jeez.
It was, you would have been stepping on people just to get to the ocean. And Greg turned to me and he looked at me and started laughing and said, Keith, we're going to be a white minority. So now the makeup of the population on the beach, see, we live in Los Angeles. We are a white minority because of the indigenous Latino, Latinx population. They are the original Americans. The white people, we just came and took over and started occupying space and pushing people around.
The white people had more efficient weapons, I think. That's how it all kind of came to be.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll probably not hear that cover of Loser at any point unless it kind of leaks out. Do you know what you're going to do with that cover?
It's just going to sit on the shelf or just relax somewhere in a computer somewhere.
Okay. Do you know if Descendants did any other Circle Jerk songs that weren't used?
We never really got into any discussion about it. It was like, well, why did you guys record those songs when you should have recorded these? And there was none of that. There was no back and forth. All we heard was Loser was not going to be on the EP. So we have two songs. We have Kabuki Girl and
Hope.
Look out, get out of my way. That's Kabuki Girl. And we also did Hope, which is my favorite Descendant song. That song, for me, transcends it really, I love Milo. I mean, all of that early Milo stuff, he's just this frustrated, depressed, can't get laid. The girls won't talk to him. You're a nerd. Get out of here. Get out of my face. Just all of his lyrics are pretty much him in his frustrated mode. And I love that. And he's very brave about it. He just steps up and says, I'm a loser. I'm just like, why don't I have a girlfriend? Okay, because of that, I'm going to eat Wiener Schnitzel.
Oh, with all you guys together on the road, has there been any joint performances? You guys gotten together to do a song, either Circle Jerks and Descendants or even Flag? Do you think we'll see a Flag performance on this tour at all?
If that's supposed to happen, it has not been run by me. And there are times on this tour where I will be watching the Adolescents, and it's like, no, I need to jump up on stage and do the on Amoeba, or Kids in the Black Hole, and I hear songs that the Descendants are playing that I want to jump up and stand next to Carl or stand next to Stefan and join them in on vocals, but I don't want to just do that. I'm sure that they wouldn't mind if I did that, but I'm a bit reserved when it comes to the two other bands that are playing with us. It's really great. This tour all of the shows have been sold out. The crowds have been great.
Yeah, what a lineup. And looking at the rest of the first half of the year, Circle Jerks are all over the place. Not only there's this Descendants tour, but then you guys are going to Europe, I think, opening for NoFX, which must be a little bit challenging between balancing all the other bands off. You got to balance off. Joey's got to balance the Bronx. How difficult is it to kind of pull a tour like this together?
Can you hear me urinating?
I can hear you pee, yes. Yeah.
That is the electrolyte drink that I finished about 10 minutes before we started this conversation.
The disturbing thing is that we're making eye contact while you do it. That's the
that would be called a professional pisser. Well, we have all of these different schedules, but ultimately it all comes down to the Circle Jerks. We'll get into what's happening with Off in a minute or two. Joey has also been playing with Zach Wild in Zach Sabbath, which they're a three-piece and they cover Black Sabbath, and everybody says they're really, really happening because what else are you going to do? Black Sabbath doesn't exist anymore, which is too bad, but that's just the way that it is. So anyways, he keeps that to a minimal. I mean, because they don't tour that much.
Right.
As for the Bronx, we played in Houston the other night, and Joby was there, and Joby's recovering from back surgery. So he was like taking a break from the band. But the thing that I learned, and Joey was telling me this, is that Mariachi Bronx is more popular than the Bronx. And they all got to pay their bills. Joey is not a part of Mariachi El Bronx. And so that gives Joey more time to spend with his 3 boys and his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
We, when I say we, I mean the Circle Jerks. We have a bunch of stuff. We have a lot of tours coming up.
Mm-hmm.
We have the European tour with No Effects. Some of the other bands that will be playing with us will be Scream, Negative Approach. I love all of these bands. There'll be more bands. That tour I want to say is about 22 dates.
Mm-hmm.
We also have another tour with the Descendants that's going to last about 2.5 weeks. We have some shows up in Canada. We'll be playing with Pennywise. And then now we'll talk about Off. And here's what's happening with Off.
Hey there, all you record nerds. I want to tell you about bagsunlimited.com. Bagsunlimited.com has a huge selection of vinyl record supplies. Whether you collect LPs, 7-inch singles, 78 shellacks, or anything in between, bagsunlimited.com will sort you out. From polyline sleeves to cardboard record mailers to 7-inch storage boxes and archive quality record sleeves, protect your records of any size and shape at bagsunlimited.com. Whether you have a small personal record collection or you're running a massive record shop, you can grab a small supply or even buy in bulk at bagsunlimited.com. And they've got some really incredible, unique stuff. Bagsunlimited.com even has special size sleeves made especially to protect your box sets, storage boxes and sleeves for cassette tapes, protective supplies for reel-to-reel, and yes, even 8-tracks. Just go to bagsunlimited.com, click on audio supplies, and prepare to be impressed by all the options they have. That's bagsunlimited.com. Hey there, I gotta tell you about the Groove Washer. Not because I have to, but because I want to. The Groove Washer is the best record cleaner you can get. And if you have a vinyl collection, you need to keep it clean. Dirt and dust lead to groove wear, which affects the sound and value of your record collection. Use the Groove Washer to clean before each play, and your ears and future pocketbook will thank you. Ask for the Groove Washer by name at your local record store, or go direct to groovewasher.com and use promo code VinylGuide10 at checkout. Groove Washer is a great holiday gift. Why not send one to a friend? groovewasher.com, discount code VinylGuide10. Do it now.
Please support the Vinyl Guide sponsors. Now, back to the show.
Now we'll talk about Off, and here's what's happening with Off. We've kind of hit a wall. We had that long 8-year break that it removed our momentum. It kind of pulled the rug out from underneath us. We just thought, well, we'll start back up and it'll be right back where we were before, and we'll be moving up a couple more rungs up the ladder. And it didn't work that way. Now we have the movie coming out, Free LSD, in July. You know, we're just going to wait and see what happens. We're going to wait and see if people are still interested in us, because one of the things that I would cite is we played Primavera over in Spain and Portugal. And we were hanging out with our friend, Mr. Weiss, who is one of the guitar players in Sparks. And he was telling us, you know, here they are. I'm watching them perform. It's brilliant. They're playing in front of about 15, 20,000 people, which is great for them. There was a point in time they'd play held 900 people, and it would be a third filled. which is really sad. And this is in Los Angeles. This is where they're from. This is their hometown. That place should have been sold out. They should have been playing 3 nights in that place. Mm-hmm. And it got to a point where nobody cared about them. And then that documentary came out, and it bumped them into the stratosphere.
Yeah.
And that's an amazing thing because they deserve it. They're amazingly great.
I saw them last year at the Sydney Opera House, absolutely packed to the rafters. So you're thinking maybe after Free LSD, we'll have Off at the Sydney Opera House.
Oh, that would be bitchin'. Yeah.
It's a good spot.
That would be great. But you saw us at a couple of the venues we played, and those rooms, there could have been at least a minimum 200 to 300 more people in those rooms.
Yeah.
We were not drawing a lot of people.
There's actually a video. Someone posted a video, very well shot video of the Sydney show, which is incredible. But yeah, I expected that room to be a lot more packed.
Well, that video, the music was mixed by the drummer from Party Dozen, and they were great. I love that. I don't know if I would consider them a band if it's just 2 people, you know. She's a great sax player. He's a great drummer. They were a ton of fun to be on tour with. It was like their first Australian tour. So they had a blast. But he was the one that mixed the music for that video.
Oh, yeah. Party Dozen are awesome. I mean, she's a force of nature. He's an amazing drummer, great musician. He's in another band called Arse, which plays around a fair bit. So with Free LSD, I was talking to Dimitri about this. The acting in this movie, you know, everyone's seen so many movies of musicians that kind of wanted to try acting. A lot of times it doesn't really work well. But the acting in what I've seen so far, what has been shared, is really, really good. The production is really high, and your acting is quite impressive. That's the first time you really kind of acted in a film. Is that right?
I have been Circle Jerks performed in Repo Man. Mm-hmm. We were the nightclub act. Mm-hmm. I have been in a handful of movies, but some of them were just like not really acting parts. Mm-hmm. This would be the first time that I've really acted. And one of the people that I worked with, Chelsea Debo, who is my love interest from outer space, she was trying to give me some acting tips, like don't be nervous. That was her first advice. Don't be nervous. And I thought about it and realized that my character in the movie, when he realizes that he's like falling in love with this girl that comes into his store, has to be nervous because he's an older guy and here's this beautiful younger gal. It's like, who wouldn't be nervous? Mm-hmm. But one of our producers actually coached me. And one of the things that he told me was, one of our greatest actors never bothered to memorize his lines in these scripts. That would be Marlon Brando. Mm. Now, if you watch Marlon Brando in The Godfather, there's the scene where he's sitting at the head of the table in front of all of the family people. And he's got this like nervous where he's looking up towards the ceiling. And there's a reason for that. His lines are taped to the ceiling. But he's an Academy Award winner.
I've seen those scenes, those behind the scenes pictures with Robert Duvall, and he's got the Marlon Brando's lines in his jacket as the Godfather's facing him. So was that something you had?
No. The way that it was explained to me was the way these scenes were being shot was if you need help, there will be somebody that can feed you your lines. And I was extremely lucky because Chelsea and I have some of the most important scenes in the movie where it's just her and I and our rapport, where we're talking in the porno store. And they're like kind of leading up to romance and all of that kind of fun stuff. And we rehearsed some of these scenes like 5 or 6 times. That was good enough.
So is acting in a film, is that something you'd want to do again? Or is it just kind of an interesting one-off?
I've already been asked to be a part of 2 movies that one might possibly be shot in Mexico. It's a cowboy movie. And then the other one is based on a Terry Southern book, Flash and Filigree. The Beatles, when they formed Apple as a corporation, George Harrison wanted the Beatles to not only be in music world and fashion world, but also wanted the Beatles to be in movie production world. And George Harrison was responsible for helping to raise and produce all of those those great Monty Python movies. He was friends with all of those guys. So they had the rights to this Terry Southern book. And I believe had like a minimum 3 or 4 screenplays and written. And for whatever reason, they could never make it materialize. And so one of our friends had the opportunity to purchase the rights to this Terry Southern book with the help of Terry Southern's son. So one of our friends wants to make a movie, and the really great thing about it is production costs. Sometimes when you shoot a movie, you have all of these different locations. This movie basically is based in a house and the basement, and one of the rooms being an office. And so I've both Dimitri and I have been asked to participate in this.
Oh, wow.
I'm also sitting on, I want to say about 5 or 6 different scripts. And it's just a matter of finding the right people to get involved in making the movies. I'm working with a guy named Paul Rackman right now. Paul Rackman, who is responsible for the Slam Dance Film Festival, and also the documentary American Hardcore. And he had read my book, My Damage. And he came to me and he said, Keith, I've read probably 20 books this year, and all of the books that I've read, the only one that stuck with me, that was glued to the inside of my brain, was your book. Let's make a movie that has nothing to do with punk rock. It's all about everything leading up to Black Flag. And we're talking to some pretty big names. Now, the budget is like that big. Normally these movies have budgets that are like that big. If you can see my fingers.
I can see them.
So we're working on that. I'm not playing a role in that movie. I am playing a role in choosing some of the people that will participate in the movie. We've already done the location scouting. Like, we've done probably, I'd say, about 85% of the location scouting. Wow. And it was a great day, because they're all of these locations down in the town that I grew up in, the town that I spent 23 years of my life in.
So it's not just options. It sounds like it's happening. It sounds like that's truly happening.
Yes, it is. Now, the Circle Jerks, having this time at Tim Armstrong's studio, Tim from Rancid studio, he loves the fact that we're in there working on new songs for a new album. We have some musical bits. I have lyrics that complete the first song. And while we were there, we recorded 3 Descendants songs. We recorded The Enemy, song by D.O.A., our friends up in Vancouver, Canada. And we also recorded Bad Indian, which is a song written by one of my best friends of all time, Jeffrey Lee Pierce, and the Gun Club. And these are songs that will come out at a later time. I actually talked with Joe Keithley, who is most commonly known in punk rock world as Joey Shithead. And he said, you can talk about the song, but we know that it's going to be attached to a documentary by a guy named Scott Crawford, who was responsible for the Cream magazine documentary, and Salad Days, which is about the Washington, D.C. Discord punk rock scene. So that's in good hands. That's all something to look forward to. All of this stuff is something to look forward to in the future.
So did I hear you right? You're recording new Circle Jerks material as well. Do you think we'll see a new Circle Jerks album at some point? Well, hey there, record collectors. There's a new service available that specializes in record cleaning, restoring, sticker removal, and professional grading.
VMGvinyl.com.
VMG Vinyl can help you make the most of your collectible records. From professional cleaning of records and sleeves,
Removing old price tags and store stickers.
dry cleaning and rejuvenation of old shrink wrap to make it look like new, even providing you a professional play-tested third-party grade with either removable grading or encasing in plastic. You have a wide range of choices at VMGvinyl.com.
Buying a highly collectible record and you want it checked out by an expert?
VMG Vinyl can do that too. Head over there now and see what VMGvinyl.com can do for you and your collection. That's VMGvinyl.com, the one-stop shop for professional third-party grading, cleaning, and record restoration. That's VMGvinyl.com. Did I hear you right? You're recording new Circle Jerks material as well. Do you think we'll see a new Circle Jerks album at some point?
Yes, we will. Or yes, you will. Or yes, all of us will. Yes.
Very good.
And it's exciting because there was a point in time, the reason that off exists is because of the Circle Jerks and them being some knuckleheads and pulling a really dumb stunt. And I'd get into the details, but I think I've already talked with you about this.
You have, yeah.
So why bore your listeners?
That's all water under the bridge anyway. So okay, so
or water over the aqueduct.
It could be that too.
Yes.
Whatever it is, it's in the rearview mirror. But okay, is this new Circle Jerks material? Obviously, it's probably on Trust Records, I would imagine. You've got a good relationship with them, with the reissues.
Well, we have a great rapport with Joe Nelson. Mm-hmm. Great guy. He is interested in what we're doing. We don't know how far his interests go because Trust, as a record label, they're a reissue label. So we were the first reissue on the label. We were the guinea pigs. So if they do decide to put out our new music, once again, we will be guinea pigs for them. And we don't mind because they've treated us famously. They've treated us with the royal red carpet.
Yeah, they sound like a really, really solid group to work with. You've got Group Sex and Wild in the Streets and reissues. Do you think we'll see reissues of Golden Showers or Wonderful or some of the others?
Well, we'd like to get around to all of those. We have already celebrated the 40th anniversary of Group Sex. We've already celebrated the 40th anniversary of Wild in the Streets. We've passed the 40th anniversary of
Golden Shower.
I'm kind of speechless right now because I need to eat. Being a diabetic, but we've encountered some legal issues where you would think there is a law where it's almost common knowledge in record world that after 35 years, the music reverts back to the band. Mm-hmm. And we've had some people put up some arguments where we actually had to buy back our music. Mm-hmm. And now we're going through this thing with Golden Shower of Hits. And my approach was, we're going through all of these legal paperwork, all of that fun garbage. And I said, why don't we just release it ourselves and let the guy who thinks he owns it come at us, mm-hmm. rather than the band going at the people that think they own the music. Mm-hmm. It's like, you've had it for 35 years. If you didn't make your $1,000 investment back by now, you're not going to make it back in another 35 years. That's on you. That's not on us. We've been out promoting these songs for forever.
Yeah. So I know you got to eat, and you've been generous with your time. 2 questions before you get to that. Do you think we'll see the new Circle Jerks album this year?
Well, we're really busy touring. I mean, we got a lot of time touring. I would say if I was to place a bet on this, I would bet against it.
Okay. Okay.
And here's the thing. We can't just record an album.
Mhm.
It's been what, 23 years, 28 years since we released a record. No, we better come out like
Swinging.
we're dropping atomic bombs on everybody.
So this Descendant Circle Jerk split is probably a good test as well, right? This is your first time back in the studio with Circle Jerks in decades, just this EP, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And
So there-
the Gun Club song and the D.O.A. track.
Mhm.
And I have no more details. I mean, I was told, well, we're going to roll these out the way that there's a proper way to, because I went to Joey, I went to Michael Grodner and said, look, I'm going to be talking with Nate, and this is a really popular podcast. I want to let everybody know what's going on. And it's like, well, you can't do that because we're going to have press people doing that. We're going to be paying press people to do that. It's like, well, I could do it for free. I got a big mouth.
No,
Give
that's
me
good.
some money.
That'll give us something to talk about next time. I love it how you get involved in all these different kind of side projects and these one-offs. The different singles. There was a Rocky Horror, I think, single that you were involved in with TSOL.
With TSOL,
right?
Yes.
The Metallica one-off with Off. All these little things are really fun. I like it how they leak out. Now, last question, and this is something you and I talked about when you were in Sydney. New hat. Did the old hat make it to Fat Mike? Is it going to be in the Punk Rock Museum?
It's sitting in my living room.
Oh, okay.
I thought that I had left it behind in a dressing room, hanging on one of the lights. I was using the light to kind of help dry it out because it would get filled with sweat every time I played. Now, what happened was it somehow mysteriously, magically appeared in my suitcase. Like, I didn't put it in there. I don't remember, I thought we drove away and it was still, I forgot about it and it was hanging on the light in the dressing room.
Like Bruce Willis's watch in Pulp Fiction. You had to go back for it.
The backstage happened to be, we were on a European tour. We were in Prague. And that was a really interesting show because we played outdoors between a freeway and a big industrial building that was like a complex like an art complex, a creative complex, like a big giant art space and music recording studio and rehearsal rooms and a giant kitchen. And it was a really interesting show. It was a little bit cold outside. And the situation that we had on that particular show was Dimitri's amp blew up. And it was like they couldn't figure out what was going on. And so they got an amp from the opening band who actually lived in the complex. And that whole thing took like 45 minutes. And so I had to tell stories. I had to break out the spoken word.
So you accidentally left your hat behind, but it made its way back to you. So now it's in.
Yes.
Okay. So you still got to figure out what the plan is for what's going to happen to that hat.
Well, Fat Mike and his people at the Punk Rock Museum keep asking me to come and be a curator, be a tour guide. And it's like, I would love to do it, but it's just a matter of timing. It's just a matter of the schedule.
Okay. All right. And then whenever that timing aligns, maybe they'll have a new display. All right, Keith, thank you again for your time, man. I know you're busy on tour, and I hate bothering you guys while you got so much going on. But I definitely wanted to talk about this EP, this split with Descendents, and I want to highly encourage folks to check out CircleJerks.net. Are we going pee again?
I am.
All right,
because I'm a diabetic. That's
all right.
one of the things that I do.
There we go. Now, with the soundtrack of Keith's urine hitting the water, I want to encourage people to go to CircleJerks.net, check out their tour dates, and show up there early to grab one of those split singles because they've sold out everywhere. That's the only place you can get it is on this Descendants Circle Jerks Adolescence tour. Keith, thank you for spending your time with us. And your private moments as well. And I hope to see you soon, mate.
The Circle Jerks are planning to come back to Australia.
Ooh.
It's in the works.
It's in the works. Fantastic.
Yes.
Well, that's going to be incredible, man. I can't wait. I'll definitely be there. We'll be there in a few shows too. Take
Nate,
care. Be well, Keith.
Thank you. You be well. Love you, brother.
Love you
Cheers.
too, man. Be safe. Travel well. Cheers.
Have an amazing, and this is for everybody listening, have an amazing 2024.
We will. Thanks, mate.
Thank
Chat with
you.
Soon.
Cheers.
Now there he is, Mr. Keith Morris. Again, everyone check out CircleJerks.net. If they're coming through your town, especially with this tour with Descendants and Adolescents, make sure you go see it and get there early to grab one of those elusive EPs. And that's it for this episode of The Vinyl Guide. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, special, huge thank you to everyone who's sharing these episodes on social media, putting them on Facebook, tweeting them out on X or whatever, putting them in the Reddit forums or the Facebook groups. That is always hugely appreciated. And we'll be back shortly with a brand new episode. So until we talk next time, get out there and buy some records, people. Cheers.
That's it for this episode of The Vinyl Guide. Follow The Vinyl Guide in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever podcast app you use and enjoy the full back catalog of episodes of The Vinyl Guide podcast. Thanks again for listening.